Oh, so hello. Jimmy's just recovering from a barking fit because the postman just called. And as we know, the postman always rings twice, doesn't he, mate? You see, it gets you going, didn't it, me old sausage? Anyway, hello. Today I'd like to take a look at these, which is a piece of sort of interesting social history, I suppose, British social history anyway. They're old driving licences. I don't know how YouTube's going to respond to this, because the last time I tried to do old documents, they banned my video. So anyway, let's give it a go. That's what it used to look like back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. These little card documents, they didn't have the more modern one they've got now. So these documents belonged to a family living in Essex. I say family because there were obviously two brothers. Because this one's Michael O'Sullivan, and this is dated from 1968. And it's a provisional license, you see, provisional because it's in the beige mustard colour rather than the red passed your test type thing. I remember in my day there were pieces of paper, and there was the pink one was the provisional, and then you got a green one when you passed your test. So that's more information. You know, restriction on road users under the age of 21 years. So I don't know how old you had to be to pass a test in those days. Maybe you had to be 21. I'm not sure. I should have done a bit of research actually, but in my day you had to be 17 to pass a car test. In the States it was actually even lower. I think it was 14 or 15 or something like that. So anyway, this chap's now passed his test. Apparently, he's passed his test, hasn't he? Because he's got the red license. But in actual fact, you see, this is interesting because this provisional one belonged to Mr. Michael Frank O'Sullivan. So this must be his brother, Desmond O'Sullivan, because that's not the same man, is it? But they're at the same address in Ockenden in Essex. But well, no, they're not actually. This bloke's in Aveley in Essex. No, it isn't. That's the same place. Sorry, what am I talking about? But this license is from 1967 until 1970. So an old document. I like it a lot. I found these a few years back on the eBay, you know. I've got one of my dad's, but I don't want to show that off for obvious reasons, because the last time I tried it, I got the thing was banned in it. So it's obviously that the motor vehicle groups were different in those days, because now they're in different form. I'll show you later. But they don't call it 1, 2, 7, 12 and 13 anymore. It's quite different. So it looks like old Des has picked up a little bit of a mandat there, a little bit of a conviction for careless driving, the rotter. And he's not been banned, but he's been endorsed, and he's had to pay £8, which is probably quite a lot of money back in the 70s actually, £8. I mean, that would be a fair old toll to pay, put it that way. And so this is another licence. That's a later one of the same chap, I think, if I remember rightly. I've got to be careful I don't buckle the pages. I'm very good at doing stuff like that, me bending pages over. So there he is again, old Des Sullivan. He's still at the old same address, but now he's into 1973. I think underneath these things there are sort of, it's obviously a renewal or something, because that was the original license, and then they obviously stopped, producing it. They just gave you a new one, renewed it. Essex County Council, wonderful. Essex is a lovely county actually. It's very expensive, mind you. Yeah, so there's the bits. It looks like he's got another one there, isn't it? Another endorsement. This time he was at the courthouse in Barking. Woof woof. Barking, Jimmy? Are we barking? He says, you're bloody barking mad, mate, innit? But there you go. That was in 1972, on the 15th of June. Excessive speed, a whole 40 miles per hour. Going for the world speed record there then, the land speed record. So obviously he's done about 10 over, because I think 30 miles per hour is the limit in the UK, so don't be ridiculous, but obviously they've nicked him for it. Poor bloke, innit? So this is quite interesting. What this is a well, it says on the packet, doesn't it? It's a motor fuel ration book. And I know it looks old and it looks like it could be from the Second World War, but it isn't. In actual fact, it's from, I think, 1973 when they had the fuel oil crisis. So what happened was members of, I think it was called the Organisation of Arab Exporting Countries, OPEC, which was led by King Faisal of Saudi Arabia. Well, he placed an embargo, much like a sanction, on nations that had supported Israel during the Yom Kippur War. And amongst other nations, the UK was one of them. And this book's interesting because it's never been used. It's got the vouchers that would have rationed the fuel, you see. Everything would have had to be heavily rationed. And it looks like a 6-monthly ration book. And every obviously 6 months you'd have to write your name and address, go and get your litres, how units of fuel, or units, like but in gallons in those days in the UK actually. It's litres now, but it used to be gallons. And as I say, it goes on for, you know, second month of the NH3, whatever. On the third month, you know, the third month, so you've got the fourth month, it keeps rolling on until it gets eventually to the 6th month. So it's obviously a 6-monthly little document. So I hope you found that of some interest. These are, as I say, old licenses. I hope I don't get struck for showing documents like that on YouTube. They did it to me last time. Modern licenses are obviously completely different. They're plastic ones in the UK. I do have a UK license. There's me on I'm on the right. That's me on the right. The nutty one. But yeah, and there are my categories. I hope there's no. No, I don't think there is. They're all my categories that I've got. As many of you will know, I used to work for the ambulance service, so it was on a motorbike and a wagon, you know, on the meat cart. So a lot of the things pertain to that, and I passed my tests in a car way back in the 80s, you know. Yeah, so there you go. That's an old Manila envelope, isn't it? Manila. He's the man from Manila. You say yes. But yeah, as I say, I hope you found it of some interest, and I'll leave you on Jimmy, the handsome one, and all the very best wishes. Thanks for watching. Cheers.